back to my channel. So I'm now going to be doing some comments videos responding to your comments on the very long sequence of videos I did on the Empire of Normality. So now I'm going to go over your comments. I guess we'll take another succession of videos. This is quite a lot of comments to get through, so let's make a start. So, first of all, I'm going to go through some of your comments for video 1 on the Empire of Normality review. So and I won't name any of you by name just in case you want to remain anonymous, although obviously you can go back and read the comments if you anyway if you want to, but obviously but when I'm doing the video I won't name any of you by name. I'll just keep that anonymous for that. Okay, so one of you says, from this first part, I'm getting the impression that the author leans more toward postmodern critical theory than for classic dialectical materialism of Marxism. So yes, I can see where you're coming from there. He does say in the book that he is drawing upon dialectical Marxism. He describes himself as a dialectical materialist. However, there are very strong postmodern critical theory currents throughout the book. So I'm not sure if the author is actually aware of that, but I'd agree with you that there are these postmodern currents and that it's not exactly orthodox material Marxism. So carrying on with your comment. I totally agree with your point that pre-capitalist societies were not necessarily more accepting of neurological differences. There is strong evidence that the phenomena of changelings, where people believed their children to have been stolen and switched with fairy children, who were then often mistreated, in a bid to get the fairies to return the stolen child, is likely to have involved children with neurodevelopmental disorders. Most pre-modern societies were highly conformist, and deviations from the expected roles were not generally viewed positively. So yeah, changelings is a very interesting case in point. And yes, I agree with you that this was many of the kids involved probably had neurodevelopmental disorders, and also things like Down syndrome and other chromosomal disorders. And any child really that was seen as behaving or appearing in ways that were seen as deviating from what was expected. And it's interesting that Robert Chapman does not mention changelings in this book at all. I do wonder why that is. I know he can't cover everything, but changelings are a very good example of how pre-modern societies were not particularly tolerant. So now we're going on to the comments from video number 2. So one of you says, disability in a communist society would disappear due to there being no diagnosing and you're being sent to work, fit or not. So yeah, I guess it's obviously you're referring to, say, China or Soviet Russia. Obviously these were societies, North Korea and so on. Obviously these were or are societies that were nominally communist, but communism as an ideal has never been in existence. It's always remained an ideal. The countries that have called themselves communist generally have been anything but communist and have really been totalitarian, authoritarian regimes. And yes, you are right, obviously in those societies there's a great emphasis on productivity, just as there are in capitalist societies, and it would not really, generally speaking, bode well if you were disabled. So another one of you says, I just read an article about the end of a Greek idea of medicine. It said that the ancient Greek idea of balancing the humours of the body ended due to the application of a scientific method to medicine. Is the scientific method tied to capitalism? Well, yes, I think it is, generally speaking, because the scientific method was not possible prior to capitalist mode of production, because the capitalist mode of production itself, with the emphasis on technology and industrial advancement and innovation, all of that requires on an empirical mode of thought, which was not there in pre-capitalist feudal societies. So yes, there is a very strong correlation between the scientific method and the rise of capitalism, I would say. So the next one of you says, that makes a point that maybe in some ways today's society creates more anxiety in a sense of lack of community, media, 24/7 media making people aware of great wealth and disparities of that. Maybe existential anxiety was less in the past. Yeah, generally I think I agree. There would have been different types of anxiety in the past, more kind of, in many ways, more sort of visceral anxiety, but the sort of existential anxiety probably was a lot less in the past because there wouldn't have been access to 24/7 media and all of this kind of worry about things that may or may not happen. In some ways, ignorance is bliss. So yeah, there would have been different types of anxiety, but I agree that existential anxiety would have probably, been less. So now we move on to part 3 in the comments for the videos. So one of you says, I don't agree with the author about ancient Greece not having had some sense of objective and timeless normality. Writings through the classical and Hellenistic period do suggest there is a normal way to be, and that not meeting the norms had social consequences. Mental illness was often viewed as an affliction upon an individual from the gods, and characteristics for those of us with autism, ADHD, mental illness, etc., were treated as character flaws. I do believe the father of psychiatry, Emil Kraepelin, was a eugenicist, but then so were huge swathes of intellectual classes at that time, including many prominent socialists, and of course some pre-modern societies practiced infanticide. So yeah, again, infanticide, another example of the lack of tolerance often expressed in societies towards any child who was seen as abnormal, even though the word abnormal wasn't available then, equivalent terms. So that's a good point. So the next one of you says, just look at how they put an end to the ever-curious Socrates and Jesus for thinking differently. Yeah, good point. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the next video now to carry on going through your comments.